Hello and welcome back to another video. This is Friday and today I will be talking about Thanatos. I have not done any research or anything about him or her before now, so we will be going over this event together. That will be really nice. Let me just get my screen out of there. Let me just move that like that, and now I can just take that down a little bit or over to the other side so that we can see the text. Okay, update right here. New hero Thanatos, Valentine's Day event start. That is really cool. The Valentine's event is the Angry Akira. We can be talking about that in another video. This one will be talking about Thanatos. I do not know anything about the hero, so we will be going over it together. That will be really nice. And they also added some new hero bands. Yeah, that's basically it. Let me log into the right account. Yep. Now I can bring my head over to the other side again. Woohoo! Sounds good. This is the first time that I'll be actually recording my thought process when reading New Hero. That would be really cool. Now let us find out how this will go. Log in. Did they really reuse the Suguyang from last year? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we will be going over that afterwards. Now I can claim some reward stuff, I guess. Okay, now let us open the gallery. I do not know who he is, if he is physical or magic damage. Physical attack? Okay. Time to find out. I do not know anything about this hero. This is completely first impressions. So I have even muted the Discord for once. So time to find out, is the hero going to be meta or is the hero going to be niche? Thanatos. Okay, so he has this big ass spear, kind of like Blood Mage. Let me find Blood Mage. Yeah, Blood Mage also has one of this. Let us see how his active attack is. But first, he is an agility hero, pretty low on vitality. He is actually pretty fast. That's pretty cool. That active looks sick, and that is a normal attack, I think. Okay, let us start with the active attack. We will be finishing off with the ring. Oh, and he also has physical defense ignored, which means he can hit 100% PDE with Kazumi and Luo. That is really good. That is really good to keep in mind if he is going to be meta. Skill crit damage. And Agi. His active attack. Decree of Annihilation. Deals 11,800. Well, I'm just going to skip over the numbers. You can read those and they will change as you level up. Deal some damage to the target with the lowest health and inflicts a death mark on it. So basically, this sounds like Blood Mage from the first thing that I can see. Has a lot of damage, basically like Blood Mage. Right here, except Blood Mage has a lot of it, but Blood Mage does not have any of the mark stuff. Let me find out what that means. Death Mark reduces all healing effects on the target by 50% for 5 seconds. That is actually pretty good, but it is only against one enemy, so it's not going to be like a Dryad or anything like that. And can't be stacked. Yeah, I mean, well, that makes sense. 50% plus 50% is 100%. You can stack that. When Death Mark expires or is dispelled, it deals the same amount of damage right up here. Damage to the target again. So basically the active lasts twice. So he has this active right here, and then after 5 seconds he does the same amount of damage again. If the target's health is below 20%, it is killed instantly. Not Statue of Heroes, not something like that, but this can actually be pretty cool, not gonna lie. Yeah, of course it doesn't take any effect on boss, that would be broken. So basically the active attack does a lot of damage, and after 5 seconds it does the same amount of damage again. That is cool to know. Now let us go to the battle skill. Reaper's Whirlwind deals some damage to frontline enemies and reduces their speed by 30% for 6 seconds, so basically a hook without the dispelling of buffs, that is. Reaper's Descent battle skill removes all shields on the normal attack target and deals a lot of damage to it. The damage inflicted with Death Mark will be the priority target. Okay, so removes all shields on the normal attack target and then deals some damage to it. The enemy afflicted with Death Mark will be the priority target, so it is not the normal attack target. If Kasumi changes who he attacks with the Decree of Annihilation, it is not a normal attack that he will be fighting. That, at least that's what it sounds like. Yeah, a priority target. Still removes all shields. That is basically a Nurgle. Right here with this capstone. Dispels all buffs on the enemy with the lowest health and then deals damage to it. So basically, well, he is a lot better. He is a lot better. Okay, so for the passive skill, but first, going over this one does a lot of damage and then does the same amount of damage again in 5 seconds, so it's basically like a detonation. Or if it is dispelled. Oh, that is pretty cool, I didn't see that before now, so if you can use him against stuff like priests with energy regeneration aplenty, that can be pretty good actually. Well, he can't really chain actives like Thanatos or anything like that, but that's still pretty useful. Now, this one deals some damage to the enemies and reduces its speed, so basically a hook. If you don't know already, hook, if I can find him, I think he is physical, yeah. His active skill, this one dispels all buffs and reduces their speed by 15%. Now for the passive skill, increases agility, yeah. Whenever one unit dies on the battlefield, Thanatos gains a 10% increase in primary attributed speed up to 60%. Okay, that's actually pretty fast. 2.8 seconds, that is pretty fast for a legendary hero. That plus 60% speed, that is actually pretty good, but one unit dies on the battlefield. I'm not sure if the unit means your side or the opponent's side, but if there is like a boss where they spawn a lot of random shit, like the Halloween boss or Angry Akira for that sake, that one would stack up really quickly. But that is so incredibly niche, and a 10% increase when there is 5 enemies, that doesn't really make sense with it being up to 60%, so it is mainly like bosses that spawn stuff. That's basically where I'm getting from it. Primary attribute buff, that is really good as well. It helps a lot with his active, doing agility damage. Now for the ring. Death Cloak. Okay, so he has a lot of his stuff normally. Yeah, that's fine. Reduces the damage taken in battle by 20% and transfers this damage to a random unit on the battlefield. And transfer this damage to a random unit on the battlefield. That sounds like it can go to your team as well. Like if you build him to be a tank or something like that to withstand damage, an enemy just deals a lot of damage to him, and that just gets sent to your healer with the lowest HP. You're just instantly killing your own team. But a random unit on the battlefield, I'm not entirely sure with the battlefield thing. That is something I haven't seen before in this game, mentioned like that, if that is your team or the enemy team. It says including the enemy target. Yeah, that would be really good for like Fiend Slayers or stuff where you take a considerable amount of damage. But enemies' HP scaling is just so massive that you won't really be able to notice that. For PvP, that sounds actually pretty good. This part right here, if he has like 200k HP and an enemy does a lot of damage, that would help a lot. But it is mainly the thing that I'm looking for is the 20% damage reduced. That is massive because he is an agility hero, and agility heroes has way too low of an HP pool because they don't get like 80% HP or something dumb from Pinnacle Tower. But I'm still confused about the transfers to someone, the random unit, because that sounds lethal if you build him as a damage dealer and you suddenly instantly kill your own Diao Chan or Joan for that sake. That sounds terrible, but I'm sure it's mainly for the enemy team. But if it's just completely random, that can completely screw you over. Oh, yeah, this sounds pretty terrible, not gonna lie. But 20% damage reduction, that is really good. He might be somewhat viable in PvP or something like that, but not something I will be going over. Now, that is his main skills. Going over once again, his active does a lot of damage, and in 5 seconds, or if it is dispelled, he does that same damage again, like a detonation. It also reduces the enemy's healing, but he is only attacking one enemy, so it's not like he can replace someone. And when you get into the 105, 110 area plus, any healing from an opponent is just so massive that a percentage healing reduction is still a full heal, especially if they're using something like Priest. This one does damage to frontline enemies and reduce the speed. Not too bad. This one removes all shields from normal attack target or the enemy with a death mark. This one, just whenever someone dies, he gets better. That's basically it. Now for his talents, he can get HP, damage reductions. When you reach 11 star, you mainly always pick physical damage reduction, or you can just save it so that you don't have to spend 1,000 diamonds to reset. Next up, he definitely wants pity, no questions asked. These two, once you get him to 14 star, you'll probably be wanting to get this skill crit damage because that's massive. Let me just check right here. He has the 15% of each, yeah. Not too bad. Now, let me go over the capstone. So this one, up to 60% and 10% increase. This one is 15% increase, 50% increase in speed, up to 90%. This guy seems insane for stuff like the Halloween boss and Akira. Yeah, this boss sounds sick for those few things right here. Yeah, I can't really find the biggest use for him to get up to the final point. Yeah, maybe for like stuff like PvP when you're fighting Mathos and 3 or 4 of your team members is dead no matter what you're doing. But and you want them to die as well, he might be really good for that part. But in map, in like cellars or caves or stuff like that, you don't want your heroes to die to make him stronger. But still, 90% speed increase, what the fuck? That's stupid. That's something like Nuala can get. But you need to kill someone first to get to that point. But this is a hero that can probably just chain actives. Uh, this sounds fun. Is he going to be meta hero or something? I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. He's not. The damage is pretty cool though, but I'm not sure if he can keep up with heroes like Wolf or even Franken for that sake. He is not an AoE hero, he is a single target damage dealer. Not all of them are really that good in the map, but that is yet to be seen. As for his rings, he will probably be needing physical damage reduction, magic damage reduction. That is pretty obvious. Everyone needs that. Physical defense ignored, of course. He definitely will be wanting skill crit chance and skill crit damage. I don't see anything with normal attacks, nothing to boost that. So yeah, he will probably be pretty normal there. That is just my first impressions. I will be trying him out later this week after I do my keys, because I will be doing 1200 keys. I will not be wishing him, I will be wishing for Sugliang, because of how close I am to getting Sugliang up to 13 star. If I get incredibly lucky this week, he will become that this week. If not, he will become that next week. Anyways, that is basically what I can say about this hero. I'm not sure if he can be used anywhere, but just a small recap if you want to know. Reduces damage dealt by 20% and transfers that to a random hero. I'm so confused with the random. That sounds so lethal if you're using him as a damage dealer, that just Joan dies or Diao Chan dies and just killing off your own team. That sounds terrible. This one, massive damage, giving that damage a detonation in 5 seconds, or if it is dispelled, so that you can do that damage again. This sounds really good. This one, just frontline animation, dealing damage, reducing speed, that is good enough. This one, removing shields, so a very good counter to stuff like Bishop. Yeah, that will probably be really good up against Bishop. And this one, just a lot of speed and primary attribute buffs. That will be nutty. Not gonna lie. He can hit 100% PD, so he can probably do a lot of boss damage. That one is for sure. So, thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon with another recording talking about other heroes. Not talking about the event as a whole. This is basically part 1 of the video, and I will maybe be showing him in a fight in part 2. Thank you so much for watching again, and see you later.